What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Running Gold Standard Podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and tonight I'm with my guy, Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. Mike, how you doing this evening?
All is well, man. Another day in paradise, just living the dream, man.
I love it. Guys, if you're tuning in on Twitter, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join there. We can see and interact with all of your comments. We're not ignoring you on Twitter. We just cannot see or interact with them. Head over to youtube.com/49ers Hive. Join there. Hit like, hit subscribe while you're there. Support the channel. We got a pretty fun show for you planned tonight, Mike and myself. We're going to get it right into it. Mike, I haven't talked to you since the draft. We each did our separate shows. How do you feel? We can start right off with the first pick. Drake Jackson, edge, USC. The name gets read. What's your initial take?
I loved it. I know people had this notion that we have to get a center or we have to get a safety. And I was like, I think that if you have questions about your secondary still like that, the best way to do it is to get a strong attack up front. And so I absolutely loved it. We know the philosophy of this team. They build in the trenches. And we know John Lynch is Mr. Defense. He believes that if his defensive line can emulate what he had when he had the big guys in front of him, then, he says it all the time, Warren Sapp made my job easier. Like those guys were phenomenal out there. And so that's the philosophy. And I say, if you can go out there and you get someone on the opposite side of Bosa that can give you some of that production that D Ford had, this defense is going to be insane.
I agree, man. It is. I was a little, I don't want to say shocked. This is this team's MO. I would be kind of dumb to not be surprised. 6 in the last 8 years, they've taken a defensive lineman with their first pick. But I was really hoping they would address elsewhere this draft. I'm not mad at the pick. I like the prospect of Drake Jackson. I think it could really help the 49ers defensive line rushing opposite of Nick Bosa. I just felt a second pass rusher was a little lower on their list of needs. Offensive lineman, maybe secondary. I don't really know. But I honestly felt like they probably should have addressed other places before Jackson, but that's all right. I'm happy with it. From what I've read from a lot of these draft guys that I have a lot of respect for, he's got fantastic bend, hell of a motor, really athletic, and he kind of seems like that D Ford build to help get to the passer. So I think it'll work out. Ace Express says, but since Bosa, they finally took a true edge. That's a good point.
Yeah, it seems like they did all this like makeshift stuff with Ebukam, right? And people are saying, "Oh, well, he was really coming on." Maybe it's possible, right? But go out there and get the sure thing. Don't take a guy that played linebacker, outside linebacker and all that. Get a guy that can come in here and do what you want him to do. They're going to talk about how often he puts his hand in the dirt and things like that. But these guys aren't finished products when they're drafted. That is the thing that we have to remember. They're not done. They're not done, so we just got to be patient and let these guys do their thing.
Okay, so we have Charles Hayes talking about TDP already. Davis Price, a running back. Tell me that shocked you, because I know it shocked me. I was not expecting a running back, at the very least, this high.
Right. I thought they were going to draft a running back. I didn't think they were going to draft one that early, but I was really, really happy with running back that they selected. This guy is exactly what Kyle Shanahan is looking for in this offense. Put your foot in the ground and go. Identify a hole. He looks, he makes the read, he makes his cut, and he's out 100 miles an hour. That's why Kyle Shanahan likes Elijah Mitchell so much. And so you get a guy a little bit better. It's going to sound offensive, and I don't mean it to be, but like with a little bit better of a pedigree than what Elijah Mitchell had coming out. And you're going to get, this guy is going to be the guy. Like, I think he's going to be, never mind. I'll get to it later. But yeah, I really, really like the pick. I was surprised that they went there, running back. But at that point, I look at Tony and I'm like, hey man, you know what this means? This is BPA all the way. They're not letting they're not going to sit here and say these are the deficiencies on the team. We need to fill these holes. We're not going to reach on certain positions and players when we think that we can get them at a later time. And that's what they did. They drafted BPA and they went for the future.
Yeah. It really does seem like that. Those like athleticism charts, those RAS scores that they put together. I've been looking at them. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but the 49ers drafted like a bunch of the top players on these charts when it comes to athleticism and basically BPA, like you said. Maybe they finally said, hey, let's just get some elite traits in here instead of trying to kind of draft by the position of need. Let's just get with its most talented guys and see if that works, because maybe they really do feel like they're a player or two away, Yeah.
But, and he's this is another thing that I was excited about, right? And you step back and you look at what they've done the last couple of years. 2 running backs last year, another running back this year. People are like, oh, that wasn't a need. That wasn't a need. We got to be honest with ourselves for a second. We ran through everybody. We signed people. Not Darquez Denard. What was Pat? What was that big running back's name? Oh man, something Patrick. What was it? He played. God dang it! It wasn't Patrick, but he played with the Niners last year, and then like he was just gone. You know what I mean? He was there, but then he was gone. I think they tried to like throw a pass with him or something like that.
It'll come back to me.
They signed him late in he was a huge back. Anyhow, my point is they ran through their entire roster of running backs. And that's what ended up leading to Debo getting more snaps and stuff like that. And Kyle finally like, hey, look, I don't have to sit here and try to do it with guys that, are only third down guys. No, not Wayne Gallman. He was on the team this past season.
Hasty? We're not talking about Hasty, right?
No. He was bigger than that. This dude was like a big upright runner. Oh, I'll figure out his name. I'm gonna figure out his name and I'll tell you who it was. But my point though is we went through a ton of running backs. So many, in fact, that we had to go and get Deebo Samuel and put him in the backfield. And it just wasn't good. It's not going to be sustainable that way. So we have to go ahead and get backs. Unfortunately, it's a position that we're going to have to invest in heavily because we can't seem to keep them healthy.
And I think you touched on it there. I'm trying to pull it up, Cincinnati running back. But that really is the reason why the 49ers needed Deebo Samuel to play. Not Jerome Ford, right?
No, I'm going to tell you in 1 second. I found the roster from last year. I'm going to tell you in one second.
Okay. Brian Hill?
No. This dude, Jaquez Patrick.
Jaquez. Okay, I remember that now.
I'm pretty sure he's the running back that
Steve says it late. Come on, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, I was right with the Patrick thing. Yeah, Jaquez Patrick, 6'3". Like this guy was massive. He was huge.
Yeah.
Big guy, but like did nothing, right? Like they tried. They were out there like looking for anybody out there. And it just wasn't working. So I was happy that they went out there and got a running back. Again, super shocked. You look at the board of the safeties that were out there, and you look at some of the wide receivers that were out there, and it became what it was.
So, again, you touched on it. That's the reason why Deebo Samuel had to be used in the backfield. Week 1, Mostert gets hurt. They're basically leaning on Elijah Mitchell, who very soon after that gets hurt. Trey Sermon took a bang to the head and a flip on his back, and he's out for the rest of the year. I mean, it was insane the amount of injuries the 49ers dealt with to the running back room. And that's why Deebo Samuel, aside from being really effective, by the way, got all these carries in the backfield. He had totally embraced this role. We're taking a little break from the draft just to dig into this because this is still kind of pissing me off. Totally embraces the role. Sells shirts that says wide back, is asked at the Pro Bowl. You created your own position and the dude's embracing it. He's loving it, says whatever I gotta do to make my team win. And then we hear this past month that he's concerned with his usage. He doesn't want to be used in the backfield anymore. Make of that what you will, but what the hell's going on? And then the draft comes and goes. The Jets pick. Everyone's like, oh, is it going to happen? It's going to happen. It didn't happen. The Jets pick and go. we find out that what we heard they offered wasn't even close to what they actually offered. And it was actually a little insulting, in my opinion, what they did offer.
If
And
that
then
if that report was true, yes.
if the exactly, take that report with a grain of salt, because the guy's been known for kind of some BS reports. But then after all of that, Mike, it still comes out that Deebo Samuel wants out. What do you make of this? Are you as equally frustrated as I am?
All right. I have made it a point. I don't even discuss this guy anymore unless someone asks me directly. It's not that I'm frustrated. I'm over it. I understand trying to get your money, not wanting to play on the last year of the deal, how much you mean to the team, things of that nature. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. You know what I mean? And then I heard that, I think it was like today or something like that, or I don't know. It's just, it's whatever, man. He has to go out and try to get his money. I completely understand it. But I listened to John Lynch on KNBR just yesterday. He didn't sound too sure. They were like, give us like an injury report type of thing on how Deebo's going to be here. Yes, doubtful, probable, questionable, like, or out. And he was like, yes, in my mind. And then he's like, I don't think that the issues are something that we can't overcome. And we're still working on that. I'm not going to discuss it much further than that. So it sounds to me like the Niners don't even know what exactly his problem is. You either want to negotiate or you don't. Maybe, just maybe, he just doesn't want to be here. Maybe he just doesn't want to play for the 49ers for whatever reason. He has that right. You know what I'm saying? And we're not entitled to know the reason and all. But then just say that. Don't waste time trying to make it like your contract negotiations or whatever. The bottom line is he's going to show up, because otherwise it's going to cost him a lot of money. If he sits out, the mandatory part of the training camp or workouts, he's going to lose. I think Matt Mayoko said $90,000, or maybe it was Matt Burrows, one of those Matts, $90,000. And then if it goes further than that, it's $40,000 a day. He's not gonna sit out. And then if he's on the team and he doesn't like have a back injury or break a nail or something, he's gonna play. And people are like, is he gonna half-ass it? Is he gonna come in here and not give it his all? You can't play football. I know you play football, right? But you can't fake or half-ass football. It's too physical of a game. So he's either in or he's out. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and the whole thing also with the new CBA is that if he does sit out, he loses an accrued year, if I'm understanding this correctly. So he essentially would enter next season as a restricted free agent rather than an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
Which is a huge difference for somebody trying to command the amount of money he is. And then to top it all off, I've now heard two 49ers players basically come out and hint that he's being impatient. First, it was Fred Warner, and then Eric Armstead, when talking about contract extensions and saying, oh, these things they can take a long time. Sometimes you get a little impatient. That's just kind of the business side of things. Do you think he's maybe like Charles Hayes is saying, or excuse me, it was Rick Torres. He had his feelings hurt and he feels disrespected. He is a stubborn man. What do you think about that?
I can't say exactly what I want to say because I don't want to disrespect your platform. But F his feelings. All right. What were you disrespected by? People keep saying these things, and there's nothing to go around it. What was he disrespected by? They've done nothing but compliment this guy and coddle his feelings every time they go. John Lynch is coming up with new way. John Lynch is coming up with new ways to compliment this kid. Like he's got the will and he's got the skill. Like he's just, this guy is everything I want on and off the field. John Lynch said in that KNBR interview, he's probably my favorite player to watch play or that I've ever seen play. Like he's saying any and everything that sounds like they're willing to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So if he feels disrespected by something, and don't tell me it was the first offer they made, because if that's the case, so what? It's the first offer. That's how negotiations work. You don't walk into a car dealership and be like, hey, dude, let me get that car for the most amount of money you can possibly charge me. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not how haggling works. It's not how bartering works. That's not how negotiations work. You don't go in there and give your one and only offer. And if that's what he felt, then it's his agent's job to say, hey, chill out. I got this. So no, I just don't know.
Yeah, it is just such a baffling situation, especially how quickly it all happened. It was just kind of like, whoa, okay, I guess we really are here now. And I agree with you. It does seem like the 49ers, their way of doing business is initially coming in with a low ball offer and then kind of meeting somewhere in the middle. Total speculation on my point, obviously, but it does seem from the outside looking in like Deebo Samuel took that initial low offer, immediately got disrespected, and then turned off his phone. And the Niners are like, yo, are you going to come to the table? Like, are we going to do this or what? And he's just like, I don't even want to play here anymore. Get me out of here.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, I did watch Kyle discuss this. Kyle don't look worried at all. I love it. I absolutely love Kyle's reaction. So, I mean, like I said, I'm over it. I was over him the moment he liked that Cowboys jersey swap. That I'm not going to get over that. I'm never going to get over that. That's never going to be cool in my book. Yeah. You know what that franchise means to this franchise, this fan base. Yeah, well, now you got to live with it. It is what it is.
I agree. And some of these comments, I mean, I totally agree with Rick Torres. Kittle said his first offer was disgusting. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen Kittle say that, but I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. That's kind of, I mean, Parag is loved by the fans for making all these players, their contracts work. But you got to see the other side of that, where these players are essentially thinking, you're basically getting one over on me, and the fans love it because it helps their favorite team. So there are two sides to it, but at the same time, it is a business. You have to still show up. You have to still negotiate. You cannot just remove yourself entirely from that negotiation and then kind of blame the other side.
Right. And I don't think Kittle said that, by the way, because Fred Warner alluded to all of us have gone through these contract negotiations. We're here for him if he wants to talk. He just hasn't reached out to any of us. George Kittle,
good point.
Highest paid at his position. Fred Warner, highest paid at his position at the time of the contract. Trent Williams, highest paid at his position. If you're this emotional about it, pick up the phone and talk to the vets on your team that have gone through what you're going through. Come on, man.
Which is funny because it seems like he could talk to just about everyone else. Yeah. I mean, he could talk to social media. He could talk to OBJ, AJ Brown, apparently. Hodge says Deebo has gone full diva, and he doesn't seem to have anyone close to him to be able to tell him so. Well, it's because he's removed himself from the Bay Area, and who knows who he's talking to, but it really is unfortunate. Ian Sharp said his agent has multiple wide receivers looking for a contract at the same time. Well, one of them just got it, and we can get into that right after Wayne saying, hey, Mike, fuck your feelings. I'm just saying.
Listen, this is Wayne's guy. Wayne is never going to not like Deebo. Deebo could tell Wayne that the world is flat and spinning so fast, it's shaped like a diamond when you zoom out. And Wayne would be like, that's what he thinks. So, I mean, who am I to say that he's wrong? Like that, like
he'll say, have you ever seen it yourself? How do you know it's not?
So I'm like, nah, man, I'm just not buying it. Like I said, I'm just over it. That's all. I'm just over it.
So getting back to Ian, who his agent has multiple.
Comment here. Deebo doesn't need to be humble, by the way. Deebo's a really good football player, and he deserves to ask for the bag, and he deserves to get the bag. That has never been my issue. He is a phenomenal player, and the Niners would be lucky to have him this coming season and in the years going forward with a guy like Trey Lance, a young quarterback coming in here. He does not have to be humble. That's not it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about being humble. It's just either negotiate or say exactly how you feel. And he said how he felt. I want to be traded. He requested a trade. That should be the bottom line. That's it.
I agree. So getting back to the other receiver, one of the other receivers managed by Tory Dandy, AJ Brown, who actually was one of the two receivers traded on draft night for a first-round pick, the other being Hollywood Brown from the Ravens to the Cardinals. AJ Brown gets traded and then subsequently signed to a, I believe, 5-year, $100 million or something like that. 4-year, $100 million, $57 million guaranteed with the $23 million signing bonus. It's a wild contract, and you just touched on, Mike, the fact that Armstead, Kittle, Warner, all got the highest paid at their position when they got their contracts. It's hard for me to envision Debo getting higher than what AJ Brown just got. Am I wrong?
No, it's not impossible. It depends on how they structure it, right? But I mean, he he means more to the Niners than he means to other teams, I think. And so the Niners, if they want to maintain his services, they're gonna have to pay whatever the market says his value is. You know what I'm saying? If he gets more, it's not gonna be much more than that, but it is what it is. This guy he's got, some injuries that he was dealing with off and on. He managed to maintain relatively healthy all of last year. He had the one game that he missed, but he's a good player and he deserves to get paid. I wouldn't personally, as long as the Niners can balance the books, give him the $25 million. If that's what it is. And that was a comment that he liked, or when he was out in Miami. If it ain't $25 million, don't talk to us. That's fine. That's fine. Give him the money. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, they paid him too much. They paid him too much. You do what it takes to keep good players in the building. You know what I'm saying? That if that means giving him $26 million, then you do it. I don't think he's going to get 30. I don't think he's going to get 27, but that's just me saying what I think the number is going to be when he finally gets it. And that's wherever he goes. Whether he's traded or not, that remains to be seen. And like I said, he requested the trade. That is cool. That is his obligation. I like that, right? But you don't control whether or not you're traded. And so now, if the Niners say, no, we're not going to trade you, now he's got a decision to make. You either hold out or you come and play. What was that?
What's that?
I don't know. I just heard like, ooh. I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing stuff. I don't know.
Oh, could he playing outside or something?
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So Wayne says you wasn't saying that about George Kittle.
I wasn't saying what? I said that we should pay George Kittle. See, this is how narratives happen. I said make George Kittle the highest paid tight end. And at the time, all it would have taken was $11 million. And then when George Kittle got his money, what did I say? We overpaid George Kittle because we completely reset the market. We paid him 50% more than the next closest tight end. Imagine Debo getting 50% more than the wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. Do you understand how much money that would be? 50% is a crazy amount to be the highest paid by. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that is absolutely nuts. It's crazy. And I have no problem saying, he got paid too much. George Kittle, I think, did get paid too much. He's never healthy. He's not going to be healthy a full season. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
This is hilarious. All right. Also, for the record, George Kittle didn't ask for a trade. He didn't do any of this social media nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
He actually let the fans kind of campaign on his behalf without even acknowledging it.
Which the fans started doing for Debo.
Yep, I agree. The
fans were all on his side when this shit all started. Pay that man. Give him the bag. There was a hashtag going around, pay Debo. The fans started on his side. Yep. It was his actions, the stripping of the 49ers from all of his social media. That's when they're like, oh, you don't fuck with us? And I said that. I said, if you say you don't fuck with the Niner fans or the Niners, then the fans are going to say, well, we don't fuck with you. And that's unfortunately the cross that he has to bear right now.
So Steve wants to know, do you think Debo plays out this year, gets franchise tagged, then traded?
Probably. The Niners aren't the same way that they won't just let Jimmy go just to let him go. They're not going to let Debo go just to let him go either. When you have good players, they are valuable to your franchise, whether it be through trade or whether it be currently on your roster. They don't have a spot for Jimmy. They're going to trade Jimmy at some point, right? They have a spot for Debo. If he doesn't want to be here, we're not just going to let you go. We're going to keep you under contract as long as we can, and then we're going to trade you.
The whole thing, though, is that if I'm another team, I'm a little hesitant, and I want to see him do it 2 years in a row because he had a fantastic rookie year. Was it pay that man anything he wants? No, but it was great. Mm-hmm. Sophomore year, a lot of soft tissue injury, can't stay healthy. Right. The whole team was a mess. I don't really fault him for that. Last year has his complete breakout year, right? And now all of a sudden I want basically a blank check. And if I'm another team, I'm like, I want to see you do it again before I sign over, $5 year's income or whatever the hell amount you're going to get. And it doesn't seem like he thinks he's proved himself, which to a certain extent he has. Don't get me wrong. He proved that he belongs, but I don't know if he's proved that he deserves to be the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history just yet. Right. Lake City Fresh. Mike and Breezy at it again.
Always, man. That's my bro right there, man.
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I don't remember. Like, but there's certain parts of his game that he has to pick up. I would like to see him a little bit more present in the red zone as far as being a receiver. You know what I mean? I think he has
10 receiving in 3 years.
Right. And so like he had more rushing touchdowns last year than he had, receiving. And if you say that you don't want to be a running back anymore, you don't want to be used as the wide back anymore, then you have to show certain things in the other aspects of your game as far as being a wide receiver. Hey, does it bother you that people spell your name with a K?
Nah, my own mom does it.
Wait, your what?
Yeah, it's it's Zachary. My name is Zachary with an H.
Oh, okay.
Just
well, when she writes Zach, she writes it with a K.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
So yeah, and then the whole thing also, and we'll get off Debo. I know people are tired of talking about him, just like they're tired of talking about Jimmy. But if you're telling me that a large part of what makes you so valuable, you're not interested in doing anymore, how are you still going to expect to be as valuable? You know what I mean? It's like getting a truck that's 4x4 and you're paying for the extra 4x4, but it doesn't work.
Right. Well, and I think that was I said I think I said it on here. I think that was all part of the negotiations also, because running backs just don't make as much money as wide receivers. It's not close either, unless you're Christian McCaffrey. So what he wants to do is make it clear, no, pay me top wide receiver money. Don't say I'm a running back. Don't pay me running back money. I don't want top running back money. I want top wide receiver money. And he'll be a top 10 paid wide receiver. He'll be a top 5 paid wide receiver because that's just how the market works.
All right. With that said, we can move on. Melissa, last comment says, guys, is it just me or do you think like with Austin Hooper blowing up the tight end curve, Christian Kirk is making it even harder for guys to be getting big bucks for wide receivers? 100%.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing now we'll see what happens with the tight ends, but yeah, absolutely. That was Trent Baalke's way of giving the middle finger to the 49ers one more time. Oh, you guys got to sign that guy. Watch this. And then boom, he just lays the wood. And now Debo's like, oh, I know I'm about to get paid. So,
yeah. And the thing with Austin Hooper, if I remember correctly, he was getting what, like 9 mil per year. Like it wasn't 20 where topping that is really difficult to do. It was something that was like, okay, obviously you're going to pay him more than Austin Hooper. Kittle's 1.5 at least times the tight end that Austin Hooper is.
Right. Yeah. I think he was getting 10 and then
10
Kittle jumped up to 15 a year, which was insane to me.
But still doable. And you can make the argument for I'll close the Debo talk with this. If you're going to pay the man 25 or even anything close to it per year, do it right now while you have Trey Lance on a rookie contract. And then maybe in 2 years or so, you could try and renegotiate. You could do whatever the hell you need to do to get that number down, because it's going to be pretty difficult once you have some of these rookies that are going to need to be extended. Rick says, stupid Baalke screwing us. As always, man. As always.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So back to the draft. And we don't have to go by pick, because I know a lot of these later round players, I mean, myself, I don't even know. Which of these picks, Mike, would you say are you most excited to see that maybe somebody isn't, that I don't want to say fond of, but, knowledgeable about?
I want to see Kalia Davis or Kalia. I'm saying Kalia. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I haven't heard anyone say it officially. But the 6th round pick, the defensive lineman from UCF. I like what I saw from this guy on film. It wasn't like some stud or anything like that. He's got to learn to be consistent, super duper athletic, 6'1", 301 pounds. And it's not like his stats jump off the board or anything like that, but you can see it. And you get him with the right people, you get him with the right team, the right coaches. This guy could be a very nice replacement for DJ Jones.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, a lot of people are saying it. I think John Lynch even said it himself. A little bit of DJ Jones in him. It's a tough pick for me, but I gotta say, I'm really interested in seeing Danny Gray, the receiver, just somebody with that speed, because the 49ers haven't had that take the top off speed since Marquise Goodwin, and then it was, Brian Hoyer, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard throwing passes to him. Now we're going to have somebody who can actually, now I'm not saying he's a top, one receiver in the NFL, but the speed is really all you need. You've seen guys have solid careers just basically built on their speed, and the fact that he was known in college at SMU for being kind of a yak type guy. He's going to fit in just fine, I think, with the 49ers here. Specifically, most of their guys right now, Debo, Ayuk, Jawan, they're all kind of more possession receivers. Maybe a guy like Gray has his own role here.
Right. Yeah. I was excited about the Gray pick. People were like, oh, well, his footwork isn't all that, and he doesn't run the best routes and all. Again, not a finished product, but also look at the system that he's going to, right? Kyle's not going to ask these guys to run the most precise routes when it's time to hit people over the middle. Just get the ball in his hands quickly. We've seen Kyle do it with George Kittle. We've seen him do it with Debo. He's done it with a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be very, very impressive to see him grow and form into his own in this system here. I'm happy that Kyle Shanahan finally said, hey, I don't have to keep doing this with just random guys. Like, let me go out and get somebody with something that is an elite trait. And that speed is that elite trait right there. I really, really like that.
I agree. And then it seemed like the 49ers, a lot of people were kind of left scratching their head with the draft because they're like, oh my God, they didn't address the offensive line or the secondary. And then undrafted free agents, all those signings come, and that's like all they focus their undrafted free agents on. I'm pulling up a list somewhere. I have it.
Oh, I got it right here.
Okay. Which of them, because I know I've seen people already in the comments talking about O'Neal, Poe. Which of them are you most excited to see play?
There's a couple of them, believe it or not. There's this team did such a good job when you include the undrafted free agents at taking care of everything you could possibly want them to take care of. I think this guy, hold on, I gotta make sure I say his name right. Where'd he go? Yes. Jason Poe. That he is going to be someone to really, really, really watch. This guy, did you see the video of him running routes?
I did. I played it on Sunday. It's a ridiculous video.
Yeah. This kid is a lot of fun, man. I cannot wait. What's going on, Matt? I see you, man. This kid's going to be a lot of fun. I'm wondering if they move him to fullback. Is he here to replace Juice? Or do they try to really keep him at an offensive line position? But that's someone that kind of athleticism, that's going to be a lot of fun to see what Kyle does with that. That's what's the most exciting part about it, is watching what Kyle's going to do with it. It's not like he's just going to go to some team and they're going to say, here you go, that's it. They're going to see what he does well, and they're going to figure out how to work him into this. I like that pick there for the Niners.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, a lot of the comments excited about Leon O'Neal, Poe, but I gotta say, Donovan West. I've seen so many people. Matt was on this guy the whole time, even after the draft. He said if we sign West, the whole draft is vindicated, because he wasn't as happy with it. The front end, the back end, he was a little more pleased. But I've done a little more homework on this guy. And Jordan Elliott tweeted out, that he played 29 consecutive games at Arizona State without a holding penalty, which is just insane to me. Yeah. This guy could legitimately start some games for the 49ers this season.
Yeah. That was a very exciting signing there. You know what I mean? Donovan West was on our draft board. We had the whole big board here and everything. And we thought that he was going to go as early as third round. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, the Niners knew something was up with these centers. They knew something was up. So the draft community, they all work together. They all talk with each other. And that's why they weren't pressed to get these safeties. I mean, another guy that I really liked was Leon O'Neal. Like, I really liked him. We had him on our draft board. And it was pretty cool to see that these guys that we had 3 guys that we had on our draft board that we ended up signing as undrafted free agents. That is excellent use and knowing what to do and when to do it. Because if we had drafted any of those guys, whether it was O'Neal, whether it was West, you know what I mean? Like, if we had drafted any of those guys, the fans would have been like, cool, yay, we did a good job. We did a great job. But then it's like, did you reach, though? Because these guys weren't on anyone else's draft board either. You know, so the word reach and things like that, those are the things that, you know, you have to be careful about. It wasn't a reach if one other team likes that person. Here's Hodge. Look at Hodge. We should have got, yeah, I wanted Matt Ariza so bad. I wanted that kid so bad, man.
Smudge saying Niners paying $100K to Donovan. They did $100K, which is a lot for an undrafted free agent. Most of the contracts are like, I don't know, half, 2-3/4 of that. So obviously they know this kid can play. I think they're expecting him to get in competition to start some games. Yeah. How do you feel about the Alex Mack situation? I know we're all speculating at this point. Are you more leaning toward he is coming back? He's not coming back?
I'm not gonna. No, I don't think he's gonna come back. I don't think he's coming back. I know John Lynch kind of walked back some of his comments and all that, but I don't think he's coming back. It'll be a happy surprise if he does, but I don't think it's happening. They went out and got 1-2 centers, and they also re-signed Jake Brindell, and you got Brunskill here. That's a lot to invest in that position if you really truly believe Alex Mack is returning. So I just think the writing's on the wall. Sometimes you got to step back and look at the bigger picture. I don't think he's coming back.
It was a little weird. John Lynch basically is like, I'll let him say it. And then I think Kyle was like, we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yep. It's like, I don't know. And it's funny because like after the draft, you don't have to hide it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like now you can say it. Like I thought it was positioning at first. Like, oh no, he's fine. You know, we're not worried about him. We believe he's going to come back. Da 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 da. All right. So then now you don't have to worry about teams jumping you if you're going to draft the center. But the draft is over now. You don't have to do that anymore. You can tell us now. Yeah, we're not sure if he's coming back, so we did what we had to do. You got your undrafted free agents, unless the only thing I can think of is that they're going to get the guy from Cleveland, Treader.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a bargaining chip for him to, you know, run up the price just a little bit more if that's what they're looking at. But I don't know if that's the way they're going to go, man. I really like some of these guys. I like West.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but I mean, look, Mack wasn't all pro level last year by any means. There's still room to be improved on at the center position. He's great up top. Don't get me wrong. The dude knew his protections. He was great mentally, but physically, I think he had already lost a step. And maybe that's why he's kind of like, I don't know if I want to go back and see myself really decline.
Exactly.
Yeah, Niner by nature 88. Debo, that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. You hear it here.
Sir.
All right. So I titled the show,
Martin. Yeah.
Have the 49ers improved since losing the NFC Championship game? It's hard to say without even seeing any of these rookies play, but on paper, if you just had looking at these names, looking at maybe rankings, would you say the 49ers have gotten better or worse since that loss?
Better. I think it's better. You're healthier at the running back position. That boom right there is a plus, right? You drafted another running back who looks very promising in this system. That's a plus. Jimmy out, Trey Lance in. That's a plus for me. And I'm going to be very clear on why I say that. I don't think Trey Lance is going to come in here and be consistent. He's going to go through his ups and downs. However, just in that championship game where we needed to score, there was just something missing. And those some things that were missing from the offense, Trey Lance possesses. Willing to take shots down the field. I'm going to run if I have to. Like I can see this kid like putting it all on the line in a game that big. If I can't find anybody, I'm just gonna run. I'll find a way to do it. The way that we've seen Russell Wilson kill the Niners over and over, even when we're the better team, there's just something that he can do. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that the team definitely is better now. Wide receiver wise, we got some more speed out there. You know what I mean? The offensive line, right? I'm not going to say that the offensive line is going to be better yet, but there's some guys who had time to sit out a year, and Banks and Jalen Moore that have another year in the system here. They're ready to come in here and show their numbers and prove their weight. I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard for me to say they've gotten worse. But I agree with you. Addition by subtraction, and it's going to sound a little fucked up to say, but with Jimmy Garoppolo, because just how much he really did hold the team back at times. And don't get me wrong, there were a lot of times where a boneheaded mistake would have put them in a really bad position, and he didn't make that mistake. But there were probably twice as many times where an over-the-top elite play would have made him that much further ahead, and he wasn't able to do that either. So subtracting the negatives, add the positives, I think it's going to be much better with a Trey Lance going into his first full season as starter than Jimmy Garoppolo in his, fifth, sixth year as starter?
Yeah, exactly.
I shouldn't say a starter, but
no, he's been a starter here for 5 years.
Wow, it has been that long, huh?
Yeah, it's insane to think about, right? But he's been here since 2017. Yeah, it's like that's like I went through the same realization. That's funny as hell. I went through the same realization because I was like, we were during the draft show, and I was like, wait, is this his last year under contract, or does he have another year after this? Like, and it hit me like, holy shit, he's been here since 2017. He got the deal that offseason, like the 2018. So I was like, wow. The other thing is, we're talking about whether or not we improved. We didn't talk about the corners that they drafted. We didn't talk about the pass rusher on the opposite side of Nick Bosa, right? And then we're forgetting about what the Niners did in free agency also. Man, yes, this team is better. Yes, this team is better.
Okay, I like it. Drop in the comments what you guys think, better or worse since the NFC Championship game lost. I really do agree with this, though. Ace, bro, best defensive back room in the Kyle Shanahan era. They go out and sign Charvarius Ward. They draft Castro Fields and then Womack. They re-signed Jason Verrett this week to a one-year deal. Emmanuel Mosley's coming back healthy. I mean, heck, we might not have to see a Josh Norman or Drake Kirkpatrick this season, and that would just be a huge bonus right there. I saw people on Twitter talking about how it was a mistake to re-sign Jason Verrett because he takes up a salary spot, or excuse me, a roster spot. And I saw plenty of people like a roster spot that you'd rather have taken up by Josh Norman. Like, I really don't get it. You can start Jason Verrett.
Yeah. Jason Verrett was the best DB on the team when he was healthy, right? Yeah. And I don't think it was a close second either. Like, there was, and that was with me and how much I love Akella Witherspoon, right? Like, not only that, he's on the 90-man roster right now. The 90-man roster. There are literally people on this team right now that are never going to touch the field and be cut. It's a harsh reality, but that's what it is. There are going to be some guys that don't get an opportunity to show what they can do in preseason that are going to be cut. And he doesn't count against the salary cap. What are you possibly complaining about? He's either healthy and he can play or he can't. So that's a win. That's a win. People just have to stop looking for reason to complain. And unfortunately, that is something that happens a lot in this fan base. We're going to look for something to complain about.
It really does seem like that. I mean, especially during the off season when there's like not much going on. It's really unfortunate how many kind of just like low level moves can be blown up into this worst thing ever type thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
People don't even have to agree that the team got better, but Jason Verrett, like that, you know what I mean? Like, if you say, I don't know yet or whatever, that's fine, right? And so that's, as a podcaster, that's the other thing too. Like it's so difficult to come on here and say if you think the team got better or worse, because then what'll happen is someone's going to cut this up and they're going to run it back and they're going to say, Mike, we started out 2-7. You said that we got better since the NFC Championship game. What are you talking about? and they're going to play this little clip, and I'm going to be like, come on, guys. I looked at what we were looking at the time. Of course, I can tell you once I know the answer. But he was asking, what do I think? You know what I mean? Like, in this, because as a podcaster, you have to try to talk forward. You have to talk ahead. How you think the game is going to go doesn't mean that that's how it's going to work out. You know what I mean? Same thing with play callers. Kyle Shanahan will dial up a perfect play. And if everything goes the way it's supposed to, it's going to be a great play. But if things don't go that way, it doesn't mean it was a bad play. It doesn't mean that, he was wrong. It just, the left tackle jumped off sides, or, whatever, false started. Things happen.
Yep, exactly. It's all projecting at this point, but we did the same thing last year. We did the same thing before that. We're going to do the same thing next year because that's how this game goes. It's all projection. It's all talking out of our ass to a certain extent. And that's why you guys are watching. Let's be honest. That's why you guys are watching. So we don't have to lie about it.
I'm gonna start giving people takes where they can just disagree with me. That's what gets people really fired up. I'm gonna just be that guy. No, I don't want to be that guy. Y'all can go to Grant for that. I'm not gonna do it.
I was gonna say, yeah, we could tune into Grant. I love, and I respect Grant. I respect the hustle. I love Grant. There is a need for a person like Grant in every beat writer space. And I love any little thing that happens. I know in 20 minutes, there'll be a video on YouTube why Deebo Samuel hates John Lynch.
Yeah.
Why the 49ers drafted Sam Womack. I'm like, Grant, you didn't even know who this guy was an hour ago.
Right.
Now you're going to tell me their plan to use him?
Right.
It's insane. Right. But you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
You do. Yeah. Yeah. Content.
Exactly.
I saw the Dante Johnson hate. Don't be hating on my guys from Jersey, Matt. I saw that comment. It wasn't hate. He said he can bring him back. Yeah. But he's not going to get cut. Dante Johnson's making the team. He might.
I think he's grandfathered into the roster every year at this point.
Yeah. And watch out for him playing some strong safety, by the way. I can't wait to see how they try to move him around in the preseason.
Dude's going to turn into Ed Reed. Just watch.
You never know, man.
Before we wrap things up here, though, if you have any questions, of course, feel free to send them. We'd love to answer them. But I just needed to say this on CanBR. This is per Matt Barrows. Drake Jackson said he was blown away by all the new teammates who texted or FaceTime immediately after being drafted by the 49ers. Group included Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Trey Lance, Emmanuel Mosley. And he said, quote, "I'm fanboying, but I've got to be a professional." I don't want to be that guy. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I've never heard that from. That's not true. That's not true. Trey Lance said that he reached out to him immediately last season. Mm-hmm. But other than quarterbacks, Trey Lance taking that leadership role. And we see these wide receivers training with Trey Lance already this offseason.
Right.
Does it surprise you to see that type of leadership role at such a young age, never starting really in the NFL?
No, I'm not surprised. And I think Jimmy probably did it for other people, especially the top picked person, the first pick of the draft. I'm sure Jimmy did it. It just didn't get reported. Because I have never heard a single bad thing about Jimmy Garoppolo come from another player's mouth. Not one.
Besides Martellus Bennett.
Well, yes. Yeah, that was a pretty big one, though. You know what I'm saying? But like he's pretty much beloved in the locker room. People love him, they respect him. And they constantly say how he takes command of the huddle, right? And I always thought that was like a BS, he takes command of the huddle. He calls the play. No, they say he's like, come on, guys, you got this. We got this. We can do this. So, I was thinking about Jimmy Garoppolo today, and how much the hate for him that I have shown, right? And it's the play. It's never been about the person. It's about the play that always frustrated me. But this dude has really handled the situation really, really well. And when you look at his situation, how he's handling things versus, I hate to say his name, but 19 is handling things, it is it makes me appreciate Jimmy that much more. It's crazy. You guys know it is well documented. I have been over Jimmy. Could not wait for him to get out of here, right? And I'm listening and just thinking about what 19 has been doing all off season. And then I think back to what Jimmy's done since watching Trey get drafted. Night and day difference, man. I want this guy to go somewhere else still, but I'll be kind of maybe a little bit cheering for him in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I saw a clip of Bonte Hill and is it Joe Shasky? I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Butcher Boy
Oh,
from
but
Canby
boy,
are
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and they were talking about Debo Samuel, and Joe basically said it's not the same situation, but look at how Jimmy Garoppolo handled an entire year of
Exactly.
basically getting shit on by
Yes.
the fans, the team saying we're drafting your replacement. We expect
Mhm.
you to take this with a smile on your face,
Yep.
and he did it as professionally. You don't have to say Jimmy went above and beyond, but he did it professionally.
Yes,
You
he
didn't
did.
hear a peep out of him. He didn't do anything publicly to show that he was unhappy.
Mhm.
And could that be he's looking out for his own best interest moving forward? Maybe, but he still did it. And Debo
But
Samuel can't even go 3 months in the offseason without requesting a damn trade and liking pictures in the Cowboys jersey.
yeah, yeah, it's absolutely insane, and like you said, maybe Jimmy's doing it just for his his future value. That's still something that 19 has to consider. Debo still has to consider his future value. Like if I'm a team and you're doing all this, you're requesting a trade, you're saying you're unhappy, you're removing them from the social media platform, and I don't even know why you're doing that. How can I say I'm going to trade for you? I don't know what you're unhappy about, so I can't say I want you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know.
It reminds me of like your wife being mad at you and you literally have no idea. And you're like, what did I do? And you like you realize like she hasn't talked to me in like 2 days. And you're like, maybe I should figure out what's going on, what's wrong. And then it's like nothing. It's like you cannot expect somebody to fix things if you will not even tell them what's wrong.
Let me tell you how much I hate what you just said. Like that situation, that scenario. I My wife gets upset with me. I don't do the whole like not talking to me, nothing, 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 and then you want to bring it up later. I hate that so much that I will say, if you don't want to talk about it now, that is fine. Say I don't want to talk about it now. Just don't tell me nothing. That if you say it's nothing and try to bring it up later, I'm gonna be pissed. Like I get angry. Like I came to you to try to fix whatever was bothering you, and you said nothing. Now I'm
Yep.
sitting down watching the game or whatever, and now you want to start. No, say I don't want to talk about it right now. Now's not a
Yep.
good time. Don't nothing me, and then let my brain race. Like, oh shit, did I like some girl's picture on Twitter? Like, what could I do? Like, at least like let me think about something. Say I don't want to talk about it now, and I'm like, all
Yep.
right, let me get my confession list together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me prepare for something. Let me know I did something wrong. Don't tell me like, I don't know. It's just weird. But yeah, I get you.
Joey says then you ask what's wrong and they get more mad for you not knowing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Women, I'm gonna tell you right now, we are dumber than you think. Do not give us that much credit. Please do not give us that much credit. We are really that dumb.
Yeah, no, my wife knows it too. Like she'll be like, go in the room, open your top drawer, and right there is gonna be the book you've been looking for. And I'll go in my room and I'll open that top drawer and I don't see that book. I'm like, it's not in here. And she'll come in, she'll open the drawer, she'll move the socks, and there's the book. And I'm like, you didn't say it was under the socks. You said if I open the drawer, it was gonna be right there. It's not right there. She gave me too much credit. Gave me
So
too much credit.
Kite, I believe, asked what Martellus Bennett said a while back. He literally called Jimmy a bitch. He
Yeah.
literally called Jimmy Garoppolo a bitch. Basically told a story about how he was when he was on the Patriots, he quit on the team at his agent's request because he was trying to preserve his health for more money or something like that.
Yeah, well, what really pissed him off was they went through practice all week.
That's what it
Jimmy
was.
Jimmy was nursing this injury and he kept taking all the starting reps. And then like Saturday before the game, he was like, "Yeah, I can't go. I can't play." And Martellus Bennett was like, "Bro, like you knew this all week long and you didn't let Brissett, I think it was Brissett was
Yep.
the backup. You didn't let him get any of the starting snaps in practice. Like that was a bitch move. Like you put yourself before the team." And that really, really bothered Bennett. So yeah.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so. It is a bitch move.
Yeah.
And he was with, I believe he was on the McCourty twins podcast. They laughed as if somebody just said something they weren't supposed to say in public.
Yeah.
And none of them denied it. And they were both on the team, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So,
but I will say this: Jimmy learned from that. Now Jimmy tells every injury he's got, "I'm not going to practice." I remember after Trey Lance got the first start, I
Mhm.
forget what Jimmy's. I think was it the shoulder or the thumb. I think it was the thumb. I think it was the thumb that he had the issue with. Trey got the start. Jimmy didn't take any practice reps all week, and then Kyle like came out and was like, "Yeah, he's gonna start. He's gonna play on Sunday." You
Yeah,
know, and it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
but Jimmy had no problem putting it out there. Like the team made it public and everything, so you can't call him a bitch for that. He learned from his mistake. He learned from the mistake.
You know, if anything, the pendulum might have swung a little too far in the other direction because now he completely is overestimating his injuries. I
Right.
remember that when he hurt his calf earlier that first time where I think it was a calf injury when Trey started the first time in Arizona this year, and Jimmy goes, "Oh, I am pretty sure something tore. I'm going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks."
Yeah.
And Kyle comes out, "Yeah, a little sprain. Hopefully he'll be back next week, and we'll go from
Yep.
there."
There you go. That's what it was. I thought it was a thumb. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Shoulder stuff. I'm gonna need surgery on the shoulder. I mean, not. I'm gonna need surgery on the thumb. Never got the thumb surgery. It's just now I'm gonna go get a shoulder surgery. Like it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of the shoulder surgery, I want to ask you this, and then we can start to wrap things up here. But um, we had all speculated that this surgery being kind of hoisted upon the 49ers in the midst of what I would imagine negotiating a potential trade for Jimmy Garoppolo is the reason why Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the 49ers.
Mhm.
I and a lot that shared that opinion on social media were kind of called stupid and told that other teams know what Jimmy Garoppolo is. This wouldn't affect anything. Well, straight from the horse's mouth, John Lynch said it today, or not today, but yesterday, I believe he was
Yeah.
speaking to KNBR. And the quote here is per Jake Hudson of KNBR, "I felt we were close in some discussions, and then the decision was made to have surgery, and it brought things to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
We either want to have Jimmy playing for us, which we're all right with, or we want him to get the value." So
Mhm.
clearly this had an impact on Jimmy Garoppolo getting traded, right?
Yes. So I was one of those people that I don't think the surgery was going to stop a team from trading for Jimmy. But I do think so you can be right and wrong at the same time, right? So you guys were saying that the surgery did affect Jimmy getting traded, right? Like that's why he's still here. That was your point, and that's you said you guys were getting killed for it, right?
I know I was specifically me,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I was on the other side where it's a regular cleanup. The NFL knows the recovery time on this. Like, that's not going to stop Jimmy from getting traded. However, both can be right. And that's what I think actually ended up happening is the Niners wanted a certain value on Jimmy. And that's why John Lynch threw the word value in there at the end. Well, we're not going to trade for a guy who can't pass a physical. We're not going to give you this compensation. Let's just say it was a second round pick. We're not going to give you a second round pick for this guy who can't pass the physical right now and can't throw a ball until June, July, or August. We're not going to do that. But what we will do, low risk, high reward, we'll give you a fourth round for it. And the Niners say, no, because we know what Jimmy is. We know what he can do. You see the win-loss record. You've seen him lead game-winning drives multiple times here. We're not gonna do it for a fourth. And so both can be true. You guys you were right in saying that the injury prevented him from being traded, and I was right in that I don't think the injury completely stopped him from being tradable. It's just the value. The team still has the final say, and if they're going to accept that value, just like what happened on Thursday.
Which is a good point. And it does seem a little weird how much the 49ers are being very, very stubborn regarding what they are willing to take for Jimmy Garoppolo, considering the price tag he carries this year. Do you really think they're fine carrying a backup quarterback that's going to cost them $20-something million?
No. If they can't find a trade partner before week 1, they will cut Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been saying that. The only reason you don't do it now is because he's still technically injured. You got that $7.5 million price tag hanging over him. You wait till he can pass the physical in 8 weeks, 8 weeks. When he passes that physical, you can then go ahead and actually release him. You know what I mean? And then you get all of the money, not just some of it.
Okay. I like it. Matt says, I don't believe that they'll keep him. They'll cut him. They say they don't want to lose him for nothing, but if they keep him, he is a free agent next year. They're losing by keeping him.
Yeah, $25 million sitting there. I will say this, though, man. He'd be the best backup in the NFL, especially on this team. He would be a phenomenal backup. If they somehow, like, I know people are going to be, oh, my God, I don't want Trey Lance looking over his shoulder and da-da-da-da. Trey Lance ain't looking over his shoulder. He was drafted while that other guy was here. If anything, Jimmy was the guy looking over his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. No, we're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. But if they do some kind of sneaky deal where he's taking backup money, man, I would not be mad at that. I know it's not a popular take. I know people don't want to hear it. I would not be mad at that at all. God forbid Trey Lance gets injured. That guy, Jimmy, could come in and win a couple of games while Trey Lance is getting better and get back to the starting job. We know that.
That's a good point. Man, I could already hear social media chirping for Jimmy Garoppolo to get in there. The minute Trey throws an interception, it would be probably worse than what we saw this past season with people calling for Trey Lance. You don't think so?
I don't. I just don't, because especially it depends on the kind of, like, we've seen Jimmy throw so many terrible interceptions. There's no way they're going to be like, Jimmy wouldn't have done that. Like, come on. No one's going to really, really say that.
There are people defending Jimmy Garoppolo over Trey Lance right now on Twitter. 49ers fans.
Yes.
Arguing that he should stay the starter.
But ask them why.
Have you heard of a former NFL scout, Mike, that writes?
Go ahead, finish it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for my face to give it away. Go ahead. A former NFL scout that what? Who is this person?
That writes a bunch of bullshit, to put it frankly. This guy just has the most ridiculous. I'm not convinced it's not parody. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not convinced his entire account is not parody. The man has an Aaron Hernandez tattoo.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And I think for myself. That's what I'll say. I think for myself. That's where I'm going to leave it. I don't like I said, it's
not middle comp. Not middle comp, no.
That's funny.
Middle comp could only wish.
That's funny.
All right, wrapping things up here. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat. Later news, the 49ers playing in Mexico. We all kind of expected this. Week 11, they will be playing the Cardinals, and it'll be an away game for the 49ers. They will at least have one of these games against DeAndre Hopkins after he was just suspended for 6 games for the juice. Mm-hmm. We don't know when the first one is. With our luck, it'll probably be week 8 or something like that. So they got to play them both times, but
right.
We'll see.
I was really hoping that this game happened the following week. I'm going to be in Mexico the following week for a wedding. So I was so close, man. I don't know if I would have been able to convince my family to let me go to a football game, though, but it would have been worth a shot. And right here in Mexico. Come on, guys.
That's awesome.
Got to get my wife's passport.
All right. Before we wrap up, anything else you want to share, Mike? Anything we didn't touch that you want to get to?
No, I just want to reiterate, like you said, the topic of the show. I do believe that the 49ers got better. What they did in free agency, they shored up their weakest phase of the game in special teams. And then they went out and they got a bunch of guys who are uber talented. These young guys aren't only going to bring something to the offense and the defense, they're also going to play special teams. That's why they go out there and get these guys with these high RAS scores, right? And so I was really, really excited for the team. The one player I wish that we drafted that we didn't get was Jelani Woods, the tight end. That's the one guy. I mean, that was my draft crush. I would love to have gotten a tight end to put on the opposite side of George Kittle. I really, really would have. Someone that was going to come in here when Kittle goes out and actually steps up and has a big game. You know what I'm saying? But I absolutely believe that the 49ers got better. Starting from before the draft and free agency, shoring up with solid veterans, special team guys, right? Those are guys that you're going to go in here. Yes, one might be considered a safety, but you're not paying him money to play safety. He knows he's coming in here to be the all-pro special teams player that he is. They did it with a linebacker. These guys know what their roles are. So you can't ask for Fred Warner money because Fred Warner's doing it as a defensive player. You're doing it as a special teams player. So you go out there, you get these proven vets. You're going to pay them good money for what they are asked to do. but you're not breaking the bank by trying to get some starters for your offense or defense in free agency. So I really like that aspect. I like what the team did this offseason. Just financially, they knew, all right, money's going to be tight right now while Jimmy's still here. How do we address this whole thing? And that's exactly what they did. Let's fix special teams in free agency. Proven vets, we know they can do it. All right, let's shore up some things in the draft. And then after the draft, we know this guy ain't going to get drafted. This guy ain't going to get drafted. This guy ain't going to get drafted. We can get them as undrafted free agents. They knocked this entire offseason out of the park. During the draft and immediately after the draft, people were nervous. But about an hour or so, when all the free agents started running through, yo, we got West. Yo, we got Poe. Yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these were the things where people were like, all right, now that was a good draft. People actually had like sighs of relief on Twitter, like after the draft, and saw the UDFA. So they did a phenomenal job. This team seems to be honed in. They seem to have like this laser focus right now. I think we're going to be scary. I think we're going to be a problem, man. I really do.
Yeah, the undrafted free agents just made this draft class so much better. And that kind of has been like day 2, day 3, and the undrafted free agents, the 49ers bread and butter. Matt has made the point, and it's a good point that maybe that's because that's where Adam Peters is more involved. But these guys, I mean, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, there's a bunch of them, these complete diamonds in the later rounds, undrafted free agents. I'm really excited to see who sticks from this year's class. And while we were talking, Joey and Matt both made the point, 49ers have 9 home games at Levi's, 1 division game is at a neutral site, 7 away games. The schedule is breaking our way. Great point. Really good point. I'm curious to see where they put that bye week at, but it can only get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see. And I am here for the whole ride, man. I can't wait to see how things break down. When is the schedule released? Do you know when that is? I can't remember.
I feel like it comes out May 13th, I think, like next week or something like that, 2 weeks.
I'm going to be in freaking Miami. Maybe I'll run into Debo.
Look at you. Oh, no, he's in LA. He's just not talking to anyone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'd say what's up to him. I like the young man. I'm just over the antics. That's all.
May 12th. That's when it comes out.
I'll be here. All right. So
some of the guys got it. All right. Before we wrap things up, I got to give a quick shout out to myself because your boy got a promotion. Your boy got his own office.
Let's go, man.
And I got a new suit. So I'm just in a great mood lately. So shout out to myself. I rarely do this type of shit, but I just got to say
that's what's up, man. Congratulations, man. That's what's up. Hard work paying off.
I appreciate it. It was a bit of a surprise, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
You've been busting your ass over there, man. The same company that you've been with for
same company.
Long hours and stuff like that. I remember some of the stories, man. That's really good, man. Congrats.
Wild shit, right? Yeah. Thank you, guys. I feel like this is a bit of a rhetorical question. Is Mike excited for Trey Lance?
There's no one more excited for Trey Lance than me. Not even Trey Lance. Trey Lance is probably actually nervous. So let me not say that. I am dumb excited for Trey Lance. Listen, you look at what the team went out and got. They're excited for Trey Lance too. Kyle cannot wait to unleash this kid on the NFL. And there's no reason for us to say we have to temper our expectations for him. Expect some mistakes, but there's going to be far more upside than there are bumps and bruises. I am super confident in that. Having that 1 year to sit back and learn. You listen to John Lynch on KMBR talk about his ability to retain information. Like he said, Kyle throws a lot at these guys at the quarterback position, and he's here for it. Like he does a phenomenal job at it, bro. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, Matt says, come to the Dolphins game with me and Zach.
You guys are going to the Dolphins. Wait, we play the Dolphins
in here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, we got to see what week that is. I gotta work on some things. We got to see what week that is.
Okay, or the opener. He says we'll figure it out.
You guys are going to both.
We want to. We're going to the Dolphins for sure, but we should totally coordinate this because I'm down.
Why the Dolphins? What's
his wife is a Dolphins fan.
Oh,
she's doomed to eternity.
Gotcha. I hope they have a decent year, man, and you get to see some 49ers returning and everything. So that would be a fun game to go to. That'll be a really fun game to go to. All right.
Luckily, we didn't go 2 years ago when Fitzpatrick shredded us. So
yeah, no, you don't want to see that in person.
Matt says Zach has a new suit. Another news today was a day ending with a Y.
You're not still getting them as quickly as you used to get them before, right?
No, I can't. I'm not allowed to. So
Yeah,
this was
true.
an early birthday gift, and it's a nice black pinstripe.
Oh, I see the stripes. Okay, there you go. Okay, I see you, man. And so Mother's Day is coming up really quick. I'm going to tell you this, right? So I was supposed to get $1,000 bonus this pay period, and the owner of the company shoots me an email, says, "Mike, I couldn't do the 1,000. I put 500 in. I'll give you the other 500 next pay." He says, "But I got something else for you: box seats, VIP parking, and everything to the Sixers Heat game on
No
Sunday,
way.
Mother's Day." So I'm taking my wife to the game. Yeah.
Okay, that's got to be more than $500, right?
Oh, absolutely. The seats are. I actually looked them up on Vivid Seats. They're selling for over $1,000 each. Yeah. Damn. He's paying for parking. They have a restaurant in there that we can go to and like exclusive in there and everything. So I'm really, really excited about it, man. And my wife was like, "Yeah, I want to go," because he was like, "I'll give you the tickets and you can sell them if you want. You just do whatever you want." He's trying to make up for not being able to give me the 1,000. But she was like, "No, let's go." Like, all right, let's do it then. So that's why I'll be spending Mother's Day in a box, man. Can't wait.
That's dope. I remember, late 2010s, early 2010s. That's wrong. Like 2014-ish. My brother had brain cancer, and he's better now. He's healed. He's in remission. You know, fantastic news. But Evgeny Nabokov, the old goalie of the Sharks, used to be really involved with Make-A-Wish. And one of the wishes that we got was going to Sharks games, and he would give us the box tickets. We probably went to like 7, 8, and he would give us, it would be a whole box. So as many people as you could fit in there, basically like 20, 30 people, food, everything, man. And it was, Nabokov was a fantastic dude.
I earned some tickets. You okay? I earned some similar tickets earlier in the year from the owner, and the seats are incredible there. Like you said, 20, 30 people. Each box there has a bar in there. You don't have to go walk into concessions or anything, and you have your own bathrooms in there, so there's no long lines. You don't have the ticket, you can't get inside that box, and they bring the food to you and everything. Man, it's I cannot wait. I can't wait. I'm probably going to spend the $500 bonus while we're there, because I want my wife to have a good time for Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, all right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Great show, Mike. Thank you very much for being on. We appreciate you as always. No problem, hit like, hit subscribe. Let the folks know where to find you. I'm sure they already are subscribed already, but let them know.
No, it's all good, man. Guys, head on over to Nothing But Niners on YouTube. Subscribe over there. And if you guys want to give me a follow, it is right there at the bottom of the screen. 49ers Mike _NFL, man. And that's it, man. I'm an open book. So thanks for having me on again, man. I really, really enjoy this.
All right. As always, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night. Matt and I will be live sometime this weekend. Have a great rest of your week, and go Niners.